Do you want to loop like a pro? If so, you came to the right place. Let's get into tips and tricks on how to loop like an advanced player. Tip number 1, and one of the most important tips of all of Dead by Daylight, is look behind you while you're in chase. As you can see here, it keeps me from getting killed and it actually gets me a pallet stun. So looking behind you will help a lot in chases. I'm simply just running and he whiffs at me and misses, but that's when his zombie cuts me off. So that brings me to tip number 2. Always be aware of your surroundings. As you can see here, he's destroying the pallet and I'm hiding behind another one, and as he destroys that one, I run to another tile. This is where tip number 3 comes in. Get greedy, but never get too greedy. As you can see, he's getting confused because I'm greeting the pallet. He misses because he didn't expect me to do that, and I'm running around all over the place just getting greedy with it, and he seems to be lost. He whiffed. I dropped the pallet because I'm not trying to die, and I run to another tile. Tip number 4, utilize your perks. Like I just did, I use Sprint Burst to get away from him and run to another tile. A great perk if you're a beginner is Windows of Opportunity. It allows you to see all the tiles around and all the pallets and all the windows, and it's really helpful. This brings me to tip number 5. Always analyze what your killer's doing. I run around the car and I see that he's following, and then he breaks the pallet, so I run to a completely different tile. This allows me to stay alive and predict what he's gonna do. Brings me to tip number 6, and perhaps one of the most important tips. Keep your composure in chase and understand what each killer's ability does. His ability is a ranged ability, so I need to understand that I might have to duck. I'm also being left by my teammates here. Tip number 7. A big part of this game is waiting on the killer to make a move. So that's exactly what I want you to do. When you're in a loop, wait for the killer to make a move. Unless the killer is doing what is called mind tricks and hiding the red stain that you see in this clip, then wait for the killer to make a move. Again, I'm being chased by him, and I understand that his ability is a ranged one, and I understand exactly what it does. So I'm just gonna run, and whenever he starts to aim at me, I'm gonna crouch to hopefully try and avoid any extra hits he could get on me. And he's standing there a little confused, walks away. That brings me to tip number 8. Never ever let your guard down when you're looping a killer. I said this one because even myself, I got confused and I let my guard down and he walked away and I thought he was done, but he came back and got me just like you see. So I run back around and I start the loop again, and he's chasing me, but I keep my distance. That's another tip. You want to keep your distance and have as much distance as possible. If not, you could end up in a situation like I'm in, where you get hit and then you die. A way I could have avoided this was by not being too greedy of the pallet, which was something I mentioned earlier in the video. This brings me to tip 11, know when to leave chase. As you can see, I loop this guy, and then I go to the pallet, then I stun him with the pallet, then I vault, and then I drop the chase and go to another tile. When I do so, you're gonna notice something. Tip number 12, and a very important tip: never ever panic vault. Panic vaulting is whenever a player vaults a bunch because they are panicking. As you can see, I fake the vault and then I run off to another tile because I am at the bad side of the tile. Tip 13, and a pretty obvious tip, is know when to drop your pallet and know when to vault. As you can see, I perfectly timed the pallet drop because I knew and heard that he was using his ability, and then after, when he started breaking it, I ran to this tile and I dropped the pallet and got another stun perfectly timed. So that is an example of knowing exactly when to do stuff. tip 14 is walking when you're in chase, and I did it a little bit here, but it's especially good if you have perks that are exhaustion perks and you need to gain your full speed back for the perk. So like I said, I knew when to vault, and I walked a little bit in this chase to understand what he was doing. After he broke this pallet, I went to the other pallet on the other side of the tile, and I implemented one of the things I talked about earlier, which is fake vaulting and not panic vaulting. As you can see, fake vaulting led to him thinking I vaulted and gave me extra room, which I also talked about earlier. I fake vaulted a lot during this chase and it worked, but I also panic vaulted and it worked. Only panic vault if it's necessary. As you can see here, I implemented all of the tips, or a lot of the tips that I shared with you earlier, like not panic vaulting, waiting for the killer, and also seeing what he was doing. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out the videos on the screen.